Instead of a creed, Unitarian Universalists share a spirit and vision of radical inclusivity, individual agency, and social justice. We create a safe space to stand out, stand up, and change your mind, particularly during life's transitions. We embrace personal discovery and growth through learning, engagement, and service. Our only doctrine is love.
Bows and flows of angel hair and ice cream castles in the air and feather canyons everywhere. I've looked at clouds that way, but now they only block the sun. They rain and snow on everyone. So many things I could have done, but clouds got in my way. I've looked at clouds from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's clouds, illusions I recall. I really don't know clouds at all. Moons and Junes and Ferris wheels, the dizzy dancing way you feel as every fairy tale comes real. I've looked at love that way, but now it's just another show. You leave 'em laughing when you go, and if you care, don't let them know. Don't give yourself away. At love from both sides now, from give and take, and still somehow it's love's illusions I recall. I really don't know love at all. Tears and fears and feeling proud to say I love you right out loud. Dreams and schemes and circus crowds, I've looked at life that way. But now old friends are acting strange. They shake their heads, they say I've changed. Something's gone, but something's gained in living every day. I've looked at life from both sides now, from win and lose, and still somehow it's life's illusions I recall. I really don't know life at
Please recite with me our shared affirmation of mission. This fellowship is a welcoming, diverse, and nurturing beloved community that promotes progressive religious thought and practice to create a more loving, just, and sustainable world.
Our reading today features the words of Rebecca Parker. In the midst of a world marked by tragedy and beauty, there must be those who bear witness against unnecessary destruction, and who, with faith, rise and lead in freedom, with grace and power.
We call this light before us in hope that we may always remain a strong community throughout the year to come and always in our lives. May we know we are loved. May we share the love we have, and may we be the love we wish to see.
Greetings and blessings, everyone. Welcome. I welcome you in the name of all those who have come before me, upon whose shoulders I stand, and I welcome you in the name of all that is sacred and holy for you. I am the Reverend Anthony Mtuaswa Johnson, and it is indeed an honor and a pleasure to share this space with you at this time. Speaking of sharing and honoring the words from the UU congregation of Dublin, Ireland, resonate with me still. And they say, and I quote, "We do not ask what you believe or expect you to think the way we do, but only that you try and live a kind and helpful life with the dignity proper to that of a human being." So welcome all who believe that religion is wider than any sect and deeper than any set of opinions. Welcome all who might find in our friendship strength and encouragement for daily living. End of quote. So today's sermon is entitled Wisdom. Wisdom in today's world. You know, when the subject or the topic of wisdom comes up, I imagine the usual images tend to follow. Old books, elders with the wisdom on many years kind of carved into the wrinkles on their faces, or diplomas framed and filling one's office wall. Endless letters placed in front and behind of your name, PhD, LCSW, JD, Rev, etc. So we get the message. Wisdom is about accumulation. If you want to be wise, you need to pile it on. More knowledge, more experiences, more books to read, more gurus to follow, more degrees to get. Is that accumulation about wisdom, or is that about knowledge? And what is the difference between the two? Martin Fisher offers us this. Knowledge is a process of piling up facts. Wisdom lies in their simplification. Lin Yutang offers this. Besides the noble art of getting things done, there is also the noble art of leaving things undone. The wisdom of life consists in the elimination of non-essentials. End of quote. So today, let this be a reminder that the math of wisdom is often the opposite of what we think. Maybe, just maybe, it's more a game of subtraction than addition. Often the accumulation of knowledge doesn't get us closer to wisdom. Sometimes it's just in the way. You see, there's kind of a sorting, a simplifying, and a stripping away that needs to occur. I believe it to be about unknowing as much as knowing. Think about how deeply we get tangled up in those culturally wise messages about money or about success or the degrees or the SAT or the IQ test. We mix up status rather than the pursuit of truth. Or the way political parties, religion, and science claim to have the answers, all of them. I hear that great Persian poet Hafez whispering in my ear. And he says, quote, "The beloved sometimes wants to do us a great favor, hold us upside down, and shake all the nonsense out." End of quote. So with all our nonsense shaken out and stripped away, maybe what we notice most is not so much the pearls of wisdom themselves, but maybe the sources of wisdom that we have forgotten. When reason and logic hog the spotlight, the wisdom of the body rarely enters the room. When week-long retreats with the latest guru define our path to wisdom, we stop asking what our failures and our mistakes have to teach us. When experts sit in the center, the wisdom of those on the margins is lost. So many untapped resources, so much wisdom waiting to be known. Makes me think that maybe, just maybe, the wisest question that we may ask ourselves is, where have I not looked before? One answer, one place that I believe in and call upon and offer for your consideration and reflection. In fact, I wrote a poem about it. Goes like this. Ancestor logic is not logical. Ancestor logic is not biological. Ancestor logic is not psychological. Ancestor logic is not logical at all. Ancestor logic is not concerned about the person, neither the son of Pur or the daughter of Hur. Ancestor logic, you see, is before the self. Ancestor logic puts that ego on the shelf. Bringing you here from kingdoms come. Ancestor logic, I say that's where we all come from. It may have started with the sway of an hip, or the wink of an eye, the magic of a smile, or maybe the sound of a sweet sigh. Attraction, then acceptance. A hug, a kiss, and a natural body click. 9 months later, you got a belly kick. Ancestor logic is not logical. What's logical about the sway of a hip? Or the wink of an eye? The magic of a smile? Or the sound of a sigh? Ancestor logic, the knowledge antiseptic. That's ancestor logic. Wisdom and life is really non-toxic. True wisdom may be ancestor logic. So wisdom, my friends, I offer is a gift. You and I, we pass it on to each other like a precious jewel. None of us wants to hold on to it. We want to share it. Share the mistakes we made so that others may not make those. So we generously share our advice. It's not just something we collect to uplift ourselves. No, in other words, wisdom connects us. It's something we pass on. Or put it another way, wisdom and kinship and kindness are more closely linked than we may acknowledge. When was the last time you were wise enough to ask yourself, or to refer to what I call the 3 most powerful words in the English language? I don't know. Sandra Carey reminds us, and I quote, never mistake knowledge for wisdom. Knowledge helps you make a living. Wisdom helps you make a life. End of quote. My favorite shaman said this, quote, The intuitive mind is a sacred gift. The rational mind is a faithful servant. I want to repeat that. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. End of quote. Have we created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift? That shaman's name is Albert Einstein, by the way. Yes, I call quantum physicists, because in my culture we don't call them shamans, we prefer the term quantum physicists. One of my old heroes, Jimi Hendrix, said, "Knowledge speaks, but wisdom listens." Jimmy also said, and Bob Dylan wrote, "There's no reason to get excited. The thief, he kindly spoke. There are many, many here among us who feel that life is but a joke. But you and I, we've been through this. 'Tis not our fate. So let us stop talking falsely now. The hour's getting late." Emo Phillips said, quote, "I used to think that the brain was the most wonderful organ in the body. Then I realized who was telling me this." Confucius say, "By 3 methods we may learn wisdom. First, by reflection. Second, by imitation. And third, by experience, which is the bitterest." End of quote. How about a wise man who was also a UU minister, Reverend William Ellery Channing said, and I quote, "There are seasons in human affairs of inward and outward revolution." Maybe like the time we're going through right now. I might digress. He says there are seasons in human affairs of inward and outward revolution when new depths seem to be broken up in the soul. When new wants are unfolded in multitudes, and a new and undefined good is thirsted for. Sounding kind of familiar? There are periods when to dare is the highest wisdom. End of quote. So in closing, let me say that I believe our wisest teachers are the ones who show you and I how to use our heart. Blessed be. Amen. Ashe.
Light Lead Our Way by Reverend Fred Muir. As we rise amid the darkness of winter and forge into the new world, light lead our way. As we go about our work, as we engage in dialogue, as we seek to listen, light lead our way. As we pause to breathe for a moment, light lead our way. As we gather in reverence for life, for miracle and mystery among our community this day, Light, lead our way.
We have been warmed by fires we did not build. We have drunk at wells we did not dig. In gratitude of our many blessings and many needs, this morning's offering for this community will now be received.
As you're living, always remember you'll never beat life, so don't try to cheat life. All men are brothers, do unto others. Love's for enjoying, hate's for destroying. Never forget it, else you'll regret it, long as you're living. As you're living, always remember time is for spending, but there's an ending. While you are sleeping, a lifetime is creeping. Sample and savor all of its flavor. Live every minute, put yourself in it, as long as you're living. Forgive me if I seem to preach, but there is something that I have to say, a message that I hope will reach some people who are throwing life away. I call it my philosophy, and now I like to hand it down to you, because it works so well for me. It helps me get away from strife. I hope you listen carefully. You know the truth will set you free, and that's the way it ought to be, 'cause brother, this is your life. You're living, always remember, folks who are lazy, they're just plain crazy. Better keep moving and keep on improving, 'cause you won't be hurried after you're buried. Live every minute, put yourself in it, as long as you're living. some people who are throwing life away, call it my philosophy. Now I'd like to hand it down to you because it works so well for me. It helps me get away from strife. I hope you listen carefully. You know the truth will set you free, and that's the way it ought to be. 'Cause sister, this is your life. Every minute, sample and savor all of its flavor. Long as you're living, long as you're living, long as you're living. Long as you're living.
Wisdom words from Lao Tsu. Lao Tsu says, to become learned, each day add something. To become enlightened, each day drop something.
Come from the fire, living in the fire. Go back to the fire, turn the world around. We come from the fire, living in the fire. Go back to the fire, turn the world around. We come from the water, living in the water. Go back to the water, turn the world around. We come from the water, living in the water. Go back to the water, turn the world around. We come from the water, living in the water. Go back to the water, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, living on the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, living on the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, living on the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. Oh, so is life. Oh, so is life. Oh, so is life. Oh, so is life. Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Do I know who you are? Do you know who I am? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Oh, so is life about you are. So is life. Oh, so is life about you are. So is life. Water make the river, the mountain. Fire makes the sunlight, turn the world around. Heart is up the river, bodies up the mountain. Spirit makes the sunlight, turn the world around. We are of the spirit, truly of the spirit. Only can the spirit turn the world around. We are of the spirit, truly of the spirit. Only can the spirit turn the world around. what we want. So easy life. So what we want. Yes, it is. So is life. Yes, it is. I said, so is life.
We extinguish the chalice here that it might glow gently in our hearts. May it light your path as you leave this space. May it guide your way until we are together again.
Be true, be well, be loving. We leave this gathered community, but we don't leave our connection, our concerns, our care for each other. Our service to each other, to the world, and to our faith continues. Until we are together again, friends, be strong, be well, be true, be loving.